New AirPods 3. We've got renders, we've got art, we've got a slew of reports. Some are going to make you super, super happy, and others might just really, really piss you off. Sponsored by Skillshare. Only a small percentage of you watching right now are actually subscribed to the channel. So do me a solid, hit that button and bell so we can build the biggest and best community in tech together. With people like John Prosser saying that the AirPods 3 are basically good to go, Apple could drop them at an event later this month or in a press release at any time, I figured it was a good time to go over everything we think we know so far, starting with the latest first, Memento style, with Gizmochina sharing some really fresh renders coming from what they say are the supply chain, showing what they say is the final version. And these look exceptionally like the AirPods Pro, the current AirPods Pro, including the wide version of the case, shorter, more angled stem, so they don't quite look like your brain is dripping out of your ears quite so much, but also the more elongated top part and the addition of silicon tips. Now, those aren't shown in this render, but the part where they would connect to the AirPods. But I think it's safe to assume that that is where the tips will go. And I know that's going to be great news to a lot of people, myself included, because the traditional AirPods, the original AirPods, going all the way back to the EarPods, the one that Johnny Ive and team meticulously studied the ears of thousands and thousands of people to find that one Platokian ideal for what an in-ear shape should be. But for me and my Brazilian jiu-jitsu and judo mangled ears, they never fit. They always fell out. The left one, a little bit better than the right one, but not so much that I could use them for long periods of time. And the AirPods Pro are better. Not perfect, and I'll get to that in a minute, but a lot better. But for other people, just the idea of putting silicon tips or any tip inside their ear is either annoying or just painful, and they just much prefer the on top of the ear, in-ear style of the traditional EarPods and AirPods. And so for them, this would be a really big regression. So I guess hope beyond hope that Apple has something here that will at least partially suit as many people as possible. They're never going to be perfect for everybody, but I always feel like it's Apple's job, it's Apple's duty, because they make so few products, to make the few products that they make suit as many people as possible. And these images are in line with what we saw from 52 Audio, and basically what the rumors have been saying for a good long while now, although 52 Audio added that they'll be keeping the pressure relieving system from the current generation AirPods Pro. And those images do show the silicon tips that purportedly will go along with the AirPods 3, pretty much identical to the current silicon tips that go with the AirPods Pro. And that just makes the kind of sense that does, even if I still think a lot of people would prefer a wider variety of tips, even if they're sold as extras, and a wider variety of materials, not just the silicon tips, but something like foam tips as well. And yeah, absolutely, these aren't the usual top shelf sources, so spoiler at mTOR, but they do follow on previous reports from Bloomberg's Mark Gurman and Debbie Wu, who said that the design of the updated AirPods would be similar to the AirPods Pro, with the shorter stem, ear tips, also better battery life, but no noise cancellation. And that also makes sense given, I think the expectation is that these will fall broadly in line with the current price point of the AirPods. So Apple is going to have to reduce some of the features, not in software. Like I think the fear is that Apple just willfully withholds features to make artificial differentiation. But I think in terms of the number and quality and role of the microphones and various sensors that they're currently using to provide very, very good noise cancellation and transparency mode on the AirPods Pro, not having to include and do all of that on the AirPods 3 would indeed save money and get them into that price point, that sweet spot, which I think some of us still hope they go under, like maybe keep the AirPods 2 on the market even after the AirPods 3 come out at an even lower price, like maybe a $99 price point. I think that would be a terrific sort of AirPods SE position for entry-level, super entry-level AirPods. But for things like that, we're just going to have to wait and see, because Apple has gone in a variety of directions with stuff like that in the past. And it also builds on an even earlier report from TF International Securities analyst Kuo Ming-Chi, which, yes, that is how he writes his name in traditional Chinese on his actual reports, who said pretty much the same thing. So that paints not a perfect, not 100% for sure picture of the AirPods 3, but a very likely picture of what we're going to be getting on Apple's next generation AirPods. And it does raise the question that if Apple puts the design from the AirPods Pro into the AirPods 3 non-Pro amateur, what is that going to leave for the AirPods Pro, for the AirPods Pro 2 that are presumably coming, if not at the same time, then at some point this year or early next? And the answer to that seems to be, so far, at least based on the reporting by people like Mark Gurman, Debbie Wu, and Kuo Ming-Chi, that they're going to go for an even more radical design, something that may not even include the stem. So you'll have like zero brain drippage coming out of your ear, something that is much more in the ear. But my question remains, how much of the AirPods Pro technology, how much of that system and package, that 10-core audio unit currently on the H1, may be moving into an H2, specifically for an even smaller AirPods Pro 2? How much of that, of the sensors, of the battery, can Apple cram into something that is essentially just the bud and no stem? And I would totally render that in Blender, if render in Blender I could. But that's why there is the Blender 3D, your first 3D animation from Remington Markham's class, where he shows you, me, all of us, how to bring 3D models to life with animation. Or if IRL is more your game, check out how to film solo without the FOMO, filmmaking tricks for the one-person crew, which really speaks to me personally. And that's the true power of Skillshare. It isn't just one class, even several classes. It's an online learning community that offers membership with meaning and with an annual subscription that's less than $10 a month. And you can learn illustration, design, photography, video, freelancing, and so much more with real projects to create and support of real fellow creatives. More than 7 million of us learning with Skillshare. And the first 1,000 of you who click the link in the description will get a free trial of Skillshare Premium. Totally free. Act now and start learning today. And clicking on that link really helps out the channel. Hit the playlist above for more, much more on everything Apple has coming our way this year. I'm going over every product, every feature, so you'll know what you want to save and spend your hard-earned money on in 2021. Just hit the playlist, and I'll see you in the next video.